Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the Infinite Baffle channel. My name is Niall and today we're going to be taking a look at the Klipsch Heritage Cornwall IV speakers. A very exciting one this for us. A speaker that, given its styling, its design and its price tag, is always going to draw a lot of different opinions. But today we're going to be putting them through their paces, finding out exactly what they're capable of and giving you our thoughts on them. As always, if you do enjoy the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe for weekly hi-fi content and let me know your thoughts on the Cornwalls in the description down below. I think it's fair to say that the word heritage is one that's a bit of a buzzword at the moment in the hi-fi world. I mean, there are lots of different manufacturers that are doing anniversary editions, releasing new models that pay tribute to all the models, and we absolutely love that. I think it's the Cornwall IVs here very much live up to that kind of heritage name tag. Their design very much based on the original Klipsch La Scala speakers, and they're actually even manufactured in the very same town that those first La Scalas were produced over in the United States as well. The Cornwall IVs are a three-way 15-inch horn-loaded design, and Paul Klipsch, the inventor and originator of the Klipsch brand, is someone that believed very strongly in that kind of horn-loaded design. And along with that, the fact that they are still manufactured in that original place, I think is a real nod to the quality and craftsmanship that goes into a speaker like the Cornwall IVs. And in fact, the whole Klipsch Heritage range, and something that really stands behind that is the fact that these also come with a 10-year warranty, which shows that Klipsch really do back their product here. As always, we're doing our listing here at Audiophile, where these are currently retailing for £7,499, so no small price tag, that's fair to say. And I think there's some heavy hitting competition in that kind of ballpark as well. Immediately the Proac D48R spring to mind, a speaker that I absolutely love, though given the design of the Klipsch, these are going to be very different. You can say that straight off the bat. The Cornwalls are made up of a 1-inch titanium diaphragm compression driver, a 1 3/4-inch mid-range driver, and then an absolutely huge 15-inch fibre composite comb woofer. I mean, all of that is designed to give you a huge, uncompromised, detailed sound. As you might have guessed from looking at them, they're not light speakers either, coming in at 43 kilograms and standing at 38 inches tall, 25 inches wide and 15.5 inches deep. These are some big boy speakers. The speakers come available in a black, walnut or cherry finish. The ones that we're joined with here are the walnut model, but it is worth noting with these and all the other heritage speakers that Klipsch offer, you can get custom finishes, though obviously they're going to cost you a little bit more money. Something that's a little bit funny to me as well is the fact that we're looking at these this week after looking at the JBL Classic L52s last week, two speakers that are completely just worlds, galaxies apart, and yet there is one thing that they do share in common, and that's that I actually prefer them both with the grills on, which is something that I would never normally say. Normally I'm all about having a speaker with the drivers showing, but maybe I'm becoming a changed man, because again, I really like the grills on the Cornwalls here. Focusing back onto the numbers a little bit more though, here with the Cornwall IVs, they have a frequency response range of 34 Hz to 20 kHz and a sensitivity rating of 102 dB. On top of that, a pretty huge peak power handling rating of 400 watts, but as always, you'll be able to find all the specifications for the speakers in the description down below. I'm actually fortunate enough to that I've heard the Klipsch Cornwall IVs in action previously, though never alongside the Arkham SA45, which is what we've used to listen to them today, and I have got to say that it gave them a little bit more of a different feel to how I remember them, though in truth it was some time ago that I did hear these for the first time. We will also include a sound test at the end of the video, so do make sure to stick around to the very end to hear the Cornwall IVs here in action. The one thing though that I did remember thinking the first time that I heard them, and I thought the same again today, is that the low end, the bass delivery, is not at all what you'd expect on face value. I mean, you look at that massive 15-inch woofer and you think this is going to be a room-shaking, bone-trembling, just huge amount of low end that's being fired at you, but actually it's not. It's a lot more finessed and controlled, and dare I say that if you were using these and you really wanted to get a bit more, a subwoofer could actually be advisable, which again, you'd look at the speakers and you would never ever think that. I think particularly if you were using these in kind of an AV setting, which is not at all what they're designed for in my mind, but say you were, I'd almost recommend a subwoofer at that point. That, by the way, isn't a bad thing though, because that finessed controlled low end works really well with the rest of the sound, and I think particularly when listening to music rather than in an AV setting, does a really nice job. To me, the big area where these actually shine is the vocals. Now, if you've watched any of our videos on the channel in the past, you know that I love vocals to be rich, natural, centre of the presentation, and whilst they're not central in the presentation quite with the Klipsch's here, I don't think, they are some of the most natural, rich, realistic vocals that I have heard in a long time. Whilst listening to the speakers today, we've had on artists like Norah Jones, we've had Lana Del Rey, Chris Stapleton, and I just cannot, I cannot speak highly enough of how natural these vocals sound. It's almost like you're listening to a live performance. They are that good. And the natural sound doesn't end there either. It's not just with the vocals, it's with the instrumentation. The whole presentation just feels so rich, warm and natural. These are going to be words you're going to be hearing me say a lot during this video. But another thing that you might assume when you look at these is that the staging is going to be good, because again, the size of the drivers and the cabinets, and on that area you would be correct. The staging is fantastic, separation is wonderful. These actually, we're in a big room here in Audio Affair, it's not a massive room, but it's a big, decent sized room. But even here, I actually felt like the speakers were a little bit too big for the space that we were in, and they sounded a little bit better to me when we were kind of on the lower to mid volume range. When you really cranked it up, it felt a little bit overwhelming in this kind of room, and I think that is just testament to just how big of a space these are capable of filling, because the projection on them and the way, although that bass isn't too crunchy and punchy, the way it carries and fills an area is absolutely sensational. I think that also leans towards another point, that I think that these are actually a little bit tricky when it comes to placement, but it's one of those again where if you've got a space where these are going to be able to really shine and stretch their legs, they are going to sound absolutely phenomenal. Another thing I did want to touch upon is just the way that the tweeter, the high end and the mid range work together so well. Again, it's these little idiosyncrasies that are very hard to describe and put your finger on, but the way that the high end, the tweeter works, it just seems to give you that little bit of extra shine, that little bit of je ne sais quoi that makes them really special. That mid range though is where the placement is so important, because that can very easily get lost in a smaller room if you're really blasting it, or if you've got these, slightly off in terms of their positioning. You really will reap the benefits if you get your placement spot on with these. The best way that I can describe my experience with the Cornwall IVs is just that. It is an experience. It really feels like an event when you pair up your system and get the tunes going, because honestly, as I said previously, just the natural musical nature of these sounds just makes them so different to a lot of other speakers on the market, and that's of course due to a lot in part at least to the way that they're designed. And although if you were out there, you've got say £7,000-8,000 to spend, are there better speakers? I'd actually say yeah. I think the ProAct D48Rs on paper sound a little bit better. Another speaker that comes to mind is the Cantor #2s, the Focals. I love Focal. I've mentioned it time and time again on the channel. On paper, if we're being clinical, are those speakers better than the Klipsch's? Probably yes, in my opinion, but that is just it. It's all opinion. And what these have, I just mentioned the je ne sais quoi. It's that little thing that you can't quite put your finger on. It's the design, the whole experience of the Cornwall IVs here is a very special one, and I can very easily see why for some people this would be their audio nirvana. This would be their ultimate speaker, because it is very unique in both design, sound, and that natural live musical sound I keep on mentioning is just absolutely beautiful to listen to. I absolutely love listening to speakers of this level. It really is a privilege to be able to sit down and just properly take in what they're all about. But they're actually the videos that I dislike doing the most, because it's so hard to explain the sound, describe your experience, and really put words out there that are going to do them justice, because they really are super special. And I think if you're someone that's ever got the chance to listen to the Cornwall IVs, you should jump at that opportunity, because listening to them in a sound test like you will at the end is one thing, but listening to them in person is just an experience in itself. It really does feel to me like a bit of a physical metaphor of the whole hi-fi world, really, because as I say, they're not particularly the best on paper, but it's those little intangible factors that make them so special. And again, I think these are absolutely stunning speakers. But if you've ever had a chance to listen to these or any of the other heritage speakers from this Klipsch range, do let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I think they're the kind of speaker that almost pull on your heartstrings. So again, I want to know, is this just me? Am I going crazy? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Again, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up on it and make sure to stick around for the sound test at the end of the video, and we'll catch you all in next week's one, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.